Welcome, I guess, either that or we're living in an episode of The Twilight Zone. The last Policy and Legislative Committee meeting in this building. Am I correct on that one?
Correct.
So this will be the last. So I do want to welcome everyone here. I want to say thank you. We do at this juncture have a quorum. We are missing Jackie Lynn, but we have a quorum. And thanks also to Christian and to Ken for being with us today. I would like at this time to welcome any and all of those of you in attendance. Thank you for your interest in the work of our state board. Is there any news media present at this time? If you aren't here, then don't announce your name. All right. Is there any objection to approving the minutes that we had as presented? Hearing none, the minutes are approved by unanimous consent. Is there any objection to approving the agenda as presented? Hearing none, the agenda is approved by unanimous consent. Is there any public comment? Thank you for no public comment today. We at this time do have a request for approval. Laura McNair will bring forward for approval the request for the waiver of the South Carolina Uniform Grading Policy. We were made aware of this before, but this is being brought back to our attention so that we can take action on that today. So if Laura is here or if not,
Is someone here?
anyone?
Random person want to talk about it?
Anyone who is here today want to do a marionette impression of the request for waiver of the South Carolina Uniform Grading Policy?
Is that going to have to be put off to next meeting then? If we don't have someone to present it?
Can we take a brief?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So we will,
Okay,
at
so
this
that's
time,
what-
entertain a recess.
Yes.
Try to, if you do not mind at this point, we will cease from our play at recess, and we will come back in, and at this point, if Dr. Ferguson would just come forward, to the best of my knowledge, and Joyce, I think you helped me with this, the last time it was brought forward was for information. We had the questions, but the questions pretty much dealt with, as I understand it, and Matthew can clarify, the questions pretty much was, this is for like a gap year until we get things back in sequence with Algebra 1 and geometry with statistics. But I am by no means the expert. I'll defer to Matthew just for the formal request for waiver for the South Carolina Uniform Grading Policy.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Ferguson.
That is exactly right, Mr. Chair. This is a stopgap measure to help the transition into the new standard so that as we transition to geometry with statistics coming before Algebra 1, it allows those students not to be forced to retake Algebra 1 in the year immediately following that course if they were not successful in earning that credit. And it also adds for the ability for students who are taking the intermediate and foundations algebra track to be able to have those courses last longer in the transition, and also allows them to take courses out of sequence and get that geometry with statistics before they go into the Algebra 1 EOC course. And so this is not a permanent request to change UGP. It's just a waiver to the uniform grading policy to help in that transition period.
So with that having been said, and thank you again, Dr. Ferguson, are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right. Joyce Kreminger made a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Joette. Seconds. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Again, sorry to bring you down.
No,
It
sir.
was just for clarification purposes that, as we said, this is not a long-standing request. This is a temporary move to assist students so that there's not a gotcha clause for kids.
Yes, sir.
Dr.
right.
Shields.
Yes,
Can I
sir.
just make a comment? while
Absolutely.
Matthew's here? I think this is good for, especially for those students it'll help them with the EOC
Yes, sir.
before they have to take that. The only concern I think that I would have is not related to this, but our counselors in high schools are overwhelmed with the tracking of the credits. And I don't think there's a uniform way that schools, they have their own systems for tracking credits. But there's so many requirements, it's easy for things to slip through the crack if there's not a formal way, a system to track those credits in financial literacy, all the things that students are required to do before they graduate. I think it would behoove at some point to ask the legislature for a statewide system that parents could connect into to see where their child is in earning all those credits. But I can see in this is that a prime example, a student needs to recover for the algebra credit, but he's got to take this geometry. Then the counselor's got to go back and double check to see if he's had the algebra credit. So just some formal way of tracking. I think that's needed especially for our high school counselors.
And Dr. Mathis, it actually started before I got here, so I can't take credit for it. I think it was probably under you, but the implementation of Mesa Cloud is a recently awarded RFP that helps counselors do exactly that. There is no mandate that districts participate, and it is still very early in implementation, but it will allow counselors and school districts to follow students through their matriculation and check whether or not they are on track to meet graduation requirements, among many other things. And so that implementation is beginning, and there are districts who are signing up, ready to start in the fall, and then we will also be working to bring more districts on. But that is a service we are providing to districts. No mandate that they participate, no requirement, but there are several interested, and I think it addresses exactly what you're talking about.
As more requirements are added, which is oftentimes a good thing, it's just the record keeping could be good.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
So Matthew, will that also help with the sports availability of students to be able to, or their eligibility to be able to play sports as they find out, going into their spring of their senior year? Oops, I didn't take enough classes.
Dr. Hanley, that's a great question, but I don't know the answer to. So I will look into whether or not the high school league requirements are built into that tracking system. I just don't know that. That would be a great addition if it's not there already. But I will find that out and let you know.
Is that something parents can plug into?
I don't think so, but I also don't know that piece. I think right now, in at least the first phase, would be the counselors and district office staff. But I think you're exactly right. We
And I
need to
do
open
think-
that transparency.
and I think Dr. Hanley's question is germane in that inevitably, it seems that in February, March, and April, we're getting hit with numerous cases that we want to defer to the child to the very best extent possible, but there's this same excuse, and may be valid, maybe not. There's some miscommunication. There's probably some lack of communication between institutes of higher education, technical colleges, community colleges, four-year colleges, and the school district. But I do think that is something that could be beneficial. And again, with the coaches clinic coming in July in Greenville, it may behoove someone from the State Department to have a session for them to reacquaint athletic directors, because everybody has to go to the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association, just to have that as a session that could be done so that it comes through the ears of the coaches and the athletic directors, because it is. And I do think that you're probably right, David. The thought is, I do agree, the more we can make parents aware, the more we can get the message out, the better we will be for everyone. And I think this is something that maybe we need to promote, and it can then be said as part of one of those Tuesday afternoon State Department messages, because what I do typically as superintendent, I just, Lord, please, this thing continues, got to continue. But the thought is, if we can get it, I push it to the appropriate people. And I don't know if all superintendents will, but I try to make sure, and then I can say, well, this was said on such and such a day. So I think that's good. I think both of those are good. I think your thought is good. Matthew's working on it. I do think something to assist with, because it's not the same, but it's similar in the sense of where we are and what we get. And every time, February, March, and April gets to be queen for a day. And people come with their cases, and we don't want to hurt children. We don't want to. But anyway, so the motion carried. Is there a motion to place action item 1, request for waiver of South Carolina uniform grading policy, on the consent agenda?
I so move.
All right, thank you. Again, Member Joyette says made a motion to approve and move to the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Joyce seconded that. All in favor of the motion indicate by please saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. There's no other business. At this point, I have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
So moved. Is there a second?
Yes.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourn. Thank you.